Good morning. Welcome back to episode 36. I'm pretty sure.
I think you said 36 last week.
I think it was 35 last week. Good try. But before we get started, small announcement. We have a few shirts left, more than one, just about every size. So what we're going to do is a quick giveaway. If you comment on wherever you see this video, your size, small, medium, large, extra large, we will pick one random person, maybe two, maybe three, never know. And we will mail you a shirt. So if you comment your size, you might win a shirt. And it's free. I would open it and show you, but I'm not going to do that because I'd have to repackage it. Yeah. You should probably know what they look like by now. It's been 36 episodes.
Yeah, we've had them for a while. So
pretty nice shirt.
It is. It's pretty cool.
We have a new guest.
Yes, we do.
He is not getting inducted into the ClearCut Hall of Fame today.
Dang.
Nope.
That may come at a later date.
Dang. I'm hoping to get there one day.
Yep. But go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name's Ashton. I'm friends with these two weirdos. I've been going to Connection Point for like 4 years now. And that's about it.
4 years since you've been back?
No. So, okay. Yeah, I guess we need to talk about that.
Yeah.
So, I started coming to Connection Point when I was like 14. I was pretty big into like the youth until I turned 16. And then from about 16 to 18, or maybe even, I think 16 to 19, I really didn't come to church a whole lot. But since then, I'm 21 now. So, since 19 to 21, I've been back. So, however many years that is.
Yeah. I know that when you were in the youth group, you were kind of like chasing a woman. Is that why you came?
Actually, no. So I guess we can't say names, but I had a friend at school who knew that I played guitar and was like, "Hey, come to youth group."
Oh, okay.
So the girls came after. So I was definitely not.
It took the guitar to get the girl.
Yeah, I mean, I know that entire friend group was crushing on you there for those first couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why either, really, but
is he a baddie?
He looks completely different.
Yeah, I imagine me with no facial hair, and I look 12. So.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. So you were married. How long have you been married?
Bro, I can't even tell you. I have it tattooed on my hand. We got married October 29th, 2022. So.
I guess I should do that. I need to do that, bro.
Just because I can't get in trouble for not remembering, because it's on my hand, and because where I work, I can't wear a wedding ring. So like if I forget my wedding ring like on the weekend or something like that, I'll be like, well, hey, I have it tattooed on my hand, so you can't get mad.
And you've got it in a perfect spot, because I've seen people like do it on the ring finger, right, but like how can you? Like that just looks dumb to try to read it.
Right.
Happy anniversary.
Right.
When did you meet her?
We met. So I had always knew about her. We met. I want to say it was It was my junior year. So that would have been our COVID year. So
it was.
Our friend group, like I had kind of worked my way into another friend group, and she was in that friend group, and I thought she was the prettiest thing I've ever seen in my life. And so I started chasing her down a little bit, and she actually turned me down.
Mm-hmm.
I know you guys know that, but yeah. So I ended up asking her to, I think it was prom or something. It was a school dance, and she had told me no. And
had she already said yes to someone else?
Yeah, I think so. That was her excuse. Yeah. I don't think she did, but she definitely said no.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's funny. Did you get turned down? Because I was like definitely shot down by my wife. He was. Were you shot down? You were just that guy?
You were that guy?
Yeah, I mean, Taylor and I were talking about marriage the first day we started talking.
Yeah,
so
weird.
But
that's because you were in high school. Every high schooler does that.
Yeah.
Every high school guy does that. Super weird. They act tough, but the guy's the one talking about marriage in high school.
Well, right, I mean, for me, I mean, I thought I was going to date my ex, or I thought I was going to marry my ex. I mean, like we were together for 2.5 years.
Right.
And I mean, I get like we started dating freshman year of high school. Like those relationships never last, but it was one of those things. Like
those are the ones you think that.
Like we were just together for so long. I was like, well, I guess I'll marry her. Like I guess
yeah,
this is good.
Yeah, I guess this is going to happen. Like I guess I'm done.
But I mean, I know you felt that way.
Yeah, I felt that way. I mean, I guess twice before Hannah, because my freshman year and my sophomore year, I was in the same relationship with one person, and then I moved to Florida, and I mean, we pretty much broke up because I lived in Florida.
Yeah.
But yeah, I met someone in Florida, and I mean, we were together for 2 years, almost 3, and it was just like, I mean, I guess this is it. But that was very unhealthy.
Right.
Yeah.
Very.
So
That's a whole
I'd say mine was
podcast
as well.
for another day.
Yeah.
It's that first heartbreak, man. It just hits you different.
Yeah.
You've never
that was
experienced
terrible.
that pain before, and you're like, man, I know we've only been dating for like 3 weeks, but I thought we were gonna last forever.
You should not date until after you get out of high school.
Yeah,
if
it's
you're
not
watching
worth
this
it.
and you're in
I
high school,
agree.
just quit dating.
Not
If you're in a
worth it.
relationship, just cut it off.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen.
Text
It's not
him
gonna
now.
work. Yeah.
Hey, I got married to my high school sweetheart.
I did too. I can't say
So,
much.
I mean-
Tell them you blame ClearCut. You can blame ClearCut podcast for it. That's where
Yep.
you get all your
Relationship advice.
perfectly good and clear
Yeah, I
Christianity.
mean they can
standpoint,
sue
point of
us.
views.
We have like
Yeah,
this-
you sue me, you're wasting more than you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Especially the company.
That's funny.
We own one thing.
Yeah.
We're not even using
I don't
it.
even remember what it is. Oh yeah, it's our audio recorder and we don't even use it.
That's funny.
So you said you were in church for a while, you were out of church. Obviously you're back in church now.
Yep.
What made you step away from church, or was it just
So it was right about when I turned 16. I ended up finding alcohol and nicotine. You know, as soon as you get your license, you think you're an adult now.
Mhm.
So I mean, I found all those things, started hanging with the wrong people.
Yep.
And I mean, a lot of people do that in high school. I'm not saying that it was okay, because it definitely was not. But it's a lot easier to fall into those temptations, because in my mindset, I thought that's what made me cool,
Yeah.
was hanging out with all these people and drinking with them all the time and stuff like that. So it kind of just got to the point where I knew what I was doing was wrong, so I didn't want to come to church and act like I wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
So I was convicted, which is honestly even worse
Yeah.
than just not even caring. I was convicted enough to not come to church, but yet
Wow.
to still go do those things.
Yeah, I've had those moments with prayer before, right? Like, how am I going to ask for forgiveness whenever I'm doing this and I know that's wrong? Like,
Right,
but I'm going to come and
yeah.
ask you, like, please forgive me.
Yeah,
You
and
know, like,
oftentimes you like in the back of your mind, you're just gonna do it again.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know it's very difficult.
it is. It definitely is.
So just share some of your testimony.
Yeah, so I like to say that I, when I was not being smart in high school, I was building my testimony.
That's good.
Which even now, I mean, like I said, I'm 21, so like my testimony's not over with, and I don't think any of ours are. You know, we don't really know what God has in store for us.
Yeah,
Quite
with
yet.
us being so young, we haven't really faced that much.
Right, absolutely.
I don't know. In this room, we've all faced quite a bit of things.
Yeah.
We have. No, but so like like I said, about 16, I stopped really coming to church, started hanging out with the wrong people, started drinking, started smoking cigarettes and vaping and all that good stuff, which is not good. Don't do it. It's a trap.
Yeah.
Terrible. Don't do it. Chew bubble gum or sunflower seeds. And it does not,
Bubba.
dude. What is it? Big League Chew grape hits different.
Yeah,
Like,
just
Oh,
get
man.
those big old packs of Big League Chew. You put it in your cheek. You know, no one's gonna know it's
Yep,
gum,
no one's ever gonna know.
and it's gonna taste a lot better.
Absolutely, that is
Not
very
for
true.
long.
Yeah,
but
it
it's gonna
lasts
taste
a
good.
whole 13 seconds.
Yeah,
but it
those-
was a good 13.
Yeah, those 13 seconds are probably like some of the best 13 seconds you'll ever have in your
Yeah.
entire life.
But no, so I mean, I started running around with the wrong crowd, and like I was saying earlier, it was one of those things where I thought those things made me cool,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't until being 19 and all that good stuff, or even 20 sometimes, to really understand that it did not make me cool. What is cool is coming to church and reading your Bible. That's what's cool.
Amen.
Am I right?
Yeah, it's lit.
Having a friend group that is actually like Christians and
Absolutely.
you
yeah.
can actually talk to and
yeah,
not.
it's pretty sweet.
It's changed me for the better, that's for sure. But no, back in high school, it was our COVID year. I had been running around with the wrong crowd, and I had gotten into some trouble. So, I mean, I was in trouble. Like, did some very stupid things, and I ended up about a year later waiting in court. I ended up having to do like a month in county jail, which is not fun. So it was about a year and a few month process, like waiting on figuring out what was going to happen and all that stuff. I had an ankle bracelet at one time. So, I mean, it was not fun. And at that point in my life, I really, again, like, I've always believed in Christ, and I believed in God, and I prayed, but I wasn't actively, like, searching. I wasn't praying about any of that situation that I was in. I wasn't reading my Bible. I wasn't asking God for forgiveness for what the things that I've done, you know. But I still believed, but it was back to the same point where I felt convicted about what I did, but I also I thought that I couldn't ask for that forgiveness.
Right.
So it wasn't until after I had gotten out of jail that me and my wife sat down and were like, look, she really poured into me more than anything. She's like, we need to find another church. We need to be in church. Because she grew up in church. She's always been in, like, the VBSs and the youth groups and stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember her at the old church I went to.
Yeah. She kind of just had, like, a sit-down moment with me and was like, we need to find another church. Yeah. And at the time, I had a lot of quote-unquote church hurt is what a lot of people call it from this specific church. But as I've gotten older, I realized that it's not church hurt. It was me being held accountable for my actions. And at the time when you're 16, you think you know everything, so you just think no one likes you anymore. Yeah. And so, I mean, I did not want to come back here at all. Me and my wife went to probably 10 churches within a 30-mile radius of here.
Did you guys try Cowboy Church?
We did, actually.
Did you like it?
No. That's nothing against them. Like, that's a great church. I mean, there's some great people. God's really moving over there, but it was just not for us. And I mean, like I said, we've gone to plenty of churches, and I just couldn't.
You couldn't wear your cargo pants and Jordans?
Yeah.
It didn't fit in?
I did not fit in with my Jordans and cargo pants. But it was one of those things where, like, we'd just go sit in a pew on Sunday at a different church, and I just wouldn't feel anything. Yeah. I wasn't receiving anything from it. And I knew deep down in my heart that we wanted to try to come back here and see how that would be. And we came back one Sunday. I don't even remember when it was. I want to say like October or November of 22, maybe. Not too long after we had gotten married. So we came back, and then from that day forward, we have not missed really a Sunday.
Yeah, except for this last Sunday.
Yeah, except for this last Sunday. I did miss this last Sunday.
Except for last week.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was in I'll talk about that in a little bit. I did miss this Sunday.
To me that's powerful about your testimony is what happened while you were in jail.
Yeah, so a lot of us don't think 30 days is a very long. It's really not a long time in the grand scheme of things. But while I was in jail, my dad had passed away while he had gotten in a motorcycle accident and had some complications with that. And he had passed away while I was in jail, it was not fun because I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't do anything. I pretty much called home because for those of you who have never been to county jail, you have to pay to use a payphone and get a 15-minute phone call, and that's it. And I called home, and my wife answered the phone at first. And
was she your wife at that point?
No.
So you got married when you got out of jail?
Yes,
okay.
It was after jail. We were dating at that point, and she called me, or I called home, and she answered, and she was crying, and I couldn't really understand what she was saying. She was so, sad and crying and snuffling all the snot and all that good stuff. Couldn't understand her.
Is that how you found out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had no idea at all. So I back up a little bit that day. So I don't know how every county jail is, but ours, we have this pretty much like a tablet on the wall that I could FaceTime, pretty much is what it is.
Yeah.
And that morning I had FaceTime my dad and talked to him and everything, and he was fine. He was doing great, which doing great for had just gotten in a motorcycle accident. So he didn't actually die from the motorcycle accident. I guess I should rephrase that. He just had a broken arm and a broken rib from that. So he was actually at home after that. So it was Sunday, June 13th. I had FaceTimed him at about 11 o'clock, talked to him for a little bit. He was in some pain. but he was overall okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't think anything of it, and then I usually called about 5 o'clock every night. I would call home, and my wife would be there with my dad and my grandma. So I called home about 5 o'clock, and my wife answered. And like I said, I couldn't understand what she was saying. So my aunt got on the phone, which threw me off because my aunt lives in a town that's 30 minutes away. So I had really no idea why she was there. And she had told me that my dad had passed. And it kind of like, my immediate reaction was to just drop the phone and hit the floor. And I just started bawling my eyes out because I didn't know what to feel. I didn't know why. I didn't know what happened.
Yeah.
So it was rough, but he ended up, I don't even remember the exact reason, like something to do with internal bleeding that the hospital didn't catch.
Wow.
Or something like that, but he ended up being rushed back to the hospital that day, and he passed away up in St. Louis after being airlifted up there.
Yeah, that's actually crazy. Motorcycle wreck, that's a huge deal, but to come out with one rib and one arm, it's like, okay, well, it's going to take a while for you to get on your feet again, whatever. But then to miss something like that, that's just, that's absolutely insane.
Right, which, my dad was hard-headed, so he wanted to come home. He had already had bad heart problems and stuff like that, so he's been in and out of hospitals my whole life. So that wasn't his favorite place to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, it was a long, drawn-out process. But, yeah, that happened on June 13th. And I was still in jail, so I did not get out of jail until June 23rd. So it was 10 days later.
Yeah.
And thankfully enough, the funeral home could, preserve his body long enough.
They could hold it for long.
I think they can only hold him for 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
But I was able to have a visitation when I got out of jail, which was nice. It was expensive, but it was nice. Because I wanted to see my dad. My dad's always wanted to be cremated, but I wanted to see my dad one last time before he did get cremated. So,
yeah. And
then after that, it was tough. Like I said, that was pretty much at that point we hadn't come to church yet. So I'm trying to think. In August of that year, so a few months after my dad had passed, we ended up going to Orange Beach, Alabama for a vacation, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually where I proposed to my wife, was on the beach down there.
I went to a truck show there.
It's a nice little area.
It's pretty sweet, especially when there's 80,000 trucks that are 15 inches in the air. Just driving on the beach.
Great gas mileage.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was back in the August of that year, and then we didn't get married for a whole nother year. So it wasn't at that point I wasn't really doing anything. I didn't really have a whole lot of friends per se. We really weren't in church. I have a few friends that don't come to church here, who I will always look at as my brothers almost. I just don't hang out with them anymore, but I'll do anything for them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And they'll do anything for me. So, I just had 2 or 3 of those kinds of friends. So, it was really just me and my wife sticking through it. And I was pretty much just going to work, coming home. That was really about it. And then, so we ended up getting married in October of 2022. And then shortly after that is when we came back to church.
Yeah.
And going back to when I was in jail and when my dad did die, God really showed himself because I didn't really understand what it meant to fear God. And it's not fearing God as in he's jump scaring you and you're freaked out. It's fearing God into knowing what he's capable of doing. Yeah. And I don't know why my dad passed away. I don't know what the reason for that is. I pray. I know that he was... I think I know that he was all right with God at that point, but he was never, if this tells you anything, really the only times he had ever come to church were the day that I got baptized and the first time I ever played on a main service on Sunday. So, he believed, but we never really talked about it. So, I didn't really grow up in a Christian home. My mother, on the other hand, so my dad's mom is super religious. So I mean, I would go to her house, and we'd be watching Doug Bachelorette. If either of you know who that is, he's a pastor, and he would have these DVD sets of him preaching, and my grandma would have those on all the time. So that's I grew up with that. But I was so young that I was like, it's just another thing on the TV. I'm going to go play with my iPad now. I didn't even have an iPad. I don't even remember. Hot Wheels, probably.
Were your grandparents super religious, or are they?
Mm-hmm.
Were they?
Yep.
I feel like I know that answer.
My mom's parents were. No, my dad's parents were as well. They just didn't necessarily talk to us about it.
It seems like a lot of people say their grandparents were, and they use the word super religious. Like I use that word, super religious. So I'm just wondering what happened in their generation to where they are.
I mean,
there wasn't social media to allow people to argue,
counteract.
I mean, back when our grandparents were kids, and even through our parents being kids, being or not being a Christian was you fell into the minority.
And didn't a revival actually happen during?
I mean, because
as well, very large.
The one the revival that the movie Jesus Culture is based on. That happened within that would have been so it would have been when our grandparents were older. It would have been our parents' time. Yeah. But like I said, if you weren't a Christian, you fell within the minority. When today, yes, I think the Christian faith is still the majority within the entire world, but it is no longer the fastest growing religion. Yeah. Right. And at some point, it's going to be overrun probably by the now fastest growing religion, which is Islam.
Yep.
Interesting.
I mean, times were just a lot different. Yeah. I mean, like he was saying, if you weren't a Christian, you got shunned almost.
Yeah, it was weird.
Mm-hmm. You know, because I mean,
and they prayed in school.
Right. Yeah.
Right. You'd have even when I was a kid, I guess I went to private, so that makes sense why we prayed in school, because they probably still pray in school. Yeah. But I remember when I was a kid, they were talking about getting rid of stuff like that, even maybe even the national anthem thing,
the Pledge of Allegiance,
a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore.
At school, super weird.
They don't do the Pledge of Allegiance
anymore? I don't think so.
Man,
I think before games and stuff, but in class, first thing you do in the morning, stand up and do that. I don't think they do it anymore.
Yeah, I don't remember doing that in high school.
We never did.
Yeah, I don't think I did.
I didn't do it after I got into middle school.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't even think about that.
Could you imagine being in the NBA playing? How many games do they play? It's insane.
A lot.
You hear that 100? Every time.
At least 100 games. Then there's playoffs, whatever. Then the in-season tournament.
Yeah.
All this stuff, and the national anthem every time. That has to get old.
Yeah, but
that's
I mean, you
a
have
lot
to understand.
I know, but still, you think they're I mean, it's just
what do they play in Ontario?
Because they probably do both.
Okay.
The American.
Because I think the baseball team, the Blue Jays, they do American and the Canadian.
Okay. Interesting.
Yep. I know hockey does.
Hockey does. Only in Canada? So I know there are a ton of Canadians playing hockey.
I think if I don't know the hockey teams, but if the Canadian hockey team plays in the U.S., they still do both.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
The Canadian one's cool. Probably because it's not ours, so it's cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was written forever ago, so I mean, it sounds like it sounds.
I mean,
it sounds like a church hymn.
You know? Imagine if that was written in today's world.
Oh man, it'd be rap probably.
It probably would be rap.
It would be. That's funny. It would be rap.
Well, got anything else? Anybody? Going once?
Ashton, for them calling me out for missing a Sunday last week, I was in Madison, Mississippi, playing a Disciple Now conference. So I was still getting my weekly church. I was just in another state.
You missed group and everything.
I did. I missed Bible study group. I missed. Well, I would say I was gonna miss
you
young
missed
adults.
Burritoville.
You
my
missed
wife, Andy's.
Yeah.
I don't even want to talk about that.
I didn't even know if she told you
my
about Andy's.
Sent me a picture of her eating Burritoville and was like, "This is what kills me." Okay.
Can I tell you a secret? She found something she likes at Burritoville.
I heard. Yeah. So I would always ask to go to Burritoville. She doesn't like it. She said it's gross. I get home. Hey, we went to Burritoville, and I found something I liked. which is something I tried to get her to get the first time we went.
Oh, man.
So we hadn't gone. Yeah. And then
That's too
Andy's, for y'all who don't know who Andy's is.
Andy's frozen custard, man.
Amazing frozen custard.
They better know what it is, because in one of these episodes, I looked them straight in the eyes and told them if they don't go get to Travis Kelce, they haven't lived yet.
Yeah. It's amazing, and it's my favorite. Ice cream is really the only sweet I like.
We went outside because the line was so long and ordered ice cream, and it was -3.
Yes.
No, it was that cold that night.
It was the coldest day we've had this year.
It was the coldest
Last year.
It was the coldest day that we've had so far this year. But then the next day was the coldest, and it was colder than that. And then today is even colder than that.
Yeah, but like it was 1 degree, and we were standing outside ordering ice cream. But man, I ate the whole thing.
You do every time.
Man,
I usually get a medium.
it's crazy. We spent about as much as we did at Andy's as we did at Burritoville.
That's insane.
I know.
I get a medium and then eat half of it and save the rest.
I got a medium and ate the whole thing.
Yeah, I got a medium and ate the whole thing. I've gotten a large before and ate the whole thing, but I really feel bad.
Yeah, I felt bad after the medium.
Well, yeah, we
That's a lot of ice cream one time.
I had to cut the night short after I ate that medium.
Yeah, he did. He was like,
Andy's
sorry,
custard.
Paige, but you gotta get out of my car.
I did not say anything to Paige.
I
was like, guys, I'm sorry, but I gotta go to the bathroom. And Paige was like, okay, I'll leave. Because we took Hannah and Grayson with us. So
right.
Paige was the only one that I wasn't gonna drive home.
That's funny.
Well, guys, we hope you enjoyed episode 36. As always, we love hanging out with y'all. Don't forget, comment your shirt size down below in the comments. And you never know, you might be getting mailed a beautiful ClearCut shirt. They'll never be made again. I mean, shirts will be made again, but this design will never be made again.
Yep.
So,
and if y'all are really nice, Grayson might give you a pair of Jordans next week.
Probably not.
No.
He might give them away.
Probably not. Probably never.
He got rid of all the ones he could get rid of.
I did.
I did too.
Got rid of a lot. The rest of them, it's probably not happening.
I do want to say one thing.
I got one pair that I actually would probably give away. The Lucky Greens, because I got 2 pair.
Wow, the one pair I wear. I want to say one thing before we do hop off here. If you're looking for a Christian friend group, which I believe is something you need, go to your local church. Even if you're not actively trying to make friends, you will find people in your local church. Like I didn't have anyone here for months, and then all of a sudden I'm friends with these two. Right. It was just out of the blue.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the things you need in your walk with Christ. People to hold you accountable, people to pray with you, people to that are there for you to ask questions about Jesus, about the Bible, you know,
and just about life in general.
Yeah, just someone you can talk to.
Yeah,
and not feel scared you're going to be judged for it.
Yeah, and going into a church may be intimidating, and also like trying to figure out how to get in touch with those people. Many of your local churches will have smaller groups within the church. We're called to gather outside the church. So if your church doesn't have those groups that are meeting outside the church, then maybe it's time to go find another church. But a lot many local churches, they do have that where they'll have, like we call ours, small groups, right?
Yep.
They meet with at homes during the week. We are in a small group together. So I understand it may be intimidating when you go into a church that has 100 to 2,000 people. It's gonna be you're it's scary. I can't find anyone. Go ask. People want to talk to you. They want to get to know you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's true. It's crazy. It's the most important thing in Christianity, I think, other than getting saved. But no, it's definitely the connections you make around you. Yep. We love you guys. We cannot wait to see you next week for, I believe, episode 37. Have a great week. Stay warm if you are cold.
Because it's pretty cold.
Love you guys. Peace out.
See ya.